Hi, I'm Laura and welcome to my monthly budgeting video. In this video, I'll show you exactly how I budget my monthly income of around £4,500 each month. This is my first ever YouTube video, so you're gonna have to be gentle with me. I'm still figuring out lighting and how my camera works and all of that YouTube stuff. But I started up this YouTube channel as a way to document my own financial literacy journey. So just a few months ago, I knew nothing about money. I was really clueless when it came to savings. I was intimidated about investing. I'd had a bad experience in the past, and I just buried my head in the sand when it came to my pension. And although I earn a good salary, I constantly felt like I was just keeping my head above water, and some months I would save and then other months it would all just disappear. Once I started budgeting and tracking my spending, everything changed, and I've been able to save way more than I can imagine. So I've been able to start building out a really solid emergency fund, and also I've been able to start investing again each month. My main focus is on that emergency fund, and until that's built out, I'm not going to be investing loads each month. But I am able to find the money to put into an emergency fund and a little bit for investing. And I'm also finding money to put into saving pots for future expenses like holidays, home renovation, even getting my hair done. And I've also picked up a side hustle as well. So what I want to do going forward on this channel is post monthly budgeting videos, side hustle breakdowns, because I want to have a few side hustles and try and build some passive side hustles as well. And I'd also like to show my investment portfolio and how that's doing. And I would also like to create educational content for anyone who feels like they're starting late or feels overwhelmed by all the information out there around money and finance. So if that sounds like you and it sounds like something that you'd be interested in, then I'd love for you to subscribe and come and join me on this journey, and we can figure it all out together. So I got paid on the 24th of October and I was paid £4,533. The previous month was a little bit of an anomaly for me. So October, I finished the month with £600 left over. It was a very, what I shall call a hermit month. I was doing a lot of cat sitting, which is one of my side hustles, and I was just being a little bit of a hermit. I wasn't depriving myself. I was a little bit down and not really going out a huge amount. I think that's also why I saved this much. But I'm going to be good, and this £600 is going to come over into my saving pots. So how I usually break up my budget is I split it out into my needs, which is usually about 50% of my income. These are all my essentials. So this is travel, my mortgage, electricity, and groceries. And then my wants, I break this out as just 25% of my income, and that means that for this month I will have about £1,133, and then future, which is savings, investments, I also break that down into 25%. So what I'm going to do is mess around with this because I have a formula in here, but I'm actually going to add the £600 that I had left over because I just want it to go into my savings. We'll start allocating that now. So what I like to do is actually pay myself first. It can be a little bit hard to get into this habit, but it is good practice. So for my emergency fund, I'm actually going to put £750 into that. And for my stocks and shares ISA, we'll just put £100 in. I'm paying off a 0% credit card. I've got quite a lot on there, and it's 0%, and I can always transfer it. It was something I put a lot of spend on there when I was doing some home renovation. So I own a home in London, and maybe I'll do a video about that as well. I am renovating this by myself, and yeah, it's quite spenny, and I did use this 0% credit card at one point, and I really want to just clear it, and it will free up a lot more money for investments. My holiday sinking fund, I have £100 going in here. So I'm going to be taking a holiday to China. So I used to live in China, I speak Mandarin, and I haven't been back to China for a really long time. And I'm planning on taking a trip, and possibly with some friends who I also study Mandarin with. And I'm currently saving hard for this. House sinking fund, I'm actually going to put £275 into that because I can see some expenses coming up. My Chinese sinking fund is my Chinese language classes. Each semester is about £400, and it really creeps up on me. My website is a portfolio website that I run for my day job. So I work in tech, and I do have a portfolio site that I need to pay for the maintenance of. It's not £60 a month, but it's about £120 a year. So I just started saving these past couple of months so that I don't get hit by that bill with surprise. And then Christmas, I think I'm putting in 100. Hopefully this is all going to add up correctly. And then what I have left over, a little bit of £20 just to go into my hair sinking fund. Yeah, my hair costs a lot to get done, so I have balayage. I have an amazing hairdresser, and she is worth every single penny, but it's one of those things that when I have to have it done, it will always just catch me by surprise, and it usually coincides with when I have to pay for like my Chinese semester or something else, and then some home repair, and then all of a sudden I would just have nothing left in my savings. So I have allocated my savings. I've got £1.25. Okay, fine. I'll do £1.25 extra into that. So as you can see from this budget, I have now allocated everything into my future. And then we'll have a look at my needs. So I think some of you are going to be doing a sharp intake of breath when I put in my mortgage. Yes, it's astronomical. Yes, this is London. I did buy a house that was well within my affordability, but the interest rates are high, and so my mortgage is high. And believe it or not, this is still less than what I was going to be paying in rent. So I was renting a place that was £1,575. It was a 1.5 bedroom place with a garden. I had a cat, so I always needed a garden. And my landlady wanted to put the rent up by £200, and that was the thing that prompted me to end up buying. And I bought this lovely little one bed Victorian flat with a lovely garden. Paying this amount of mortgage is pretty tough, and I'm hoping that interest rates do go down so that eventually that monthly payment goes down. My electricity is £91.86. So yeah, also I'm a single person, so things just also feel more expensive. My council tax is £99, my phone is £14. Yeah, my phone keeps going up, so I think I'm going to change that. Transport and groceries, this is something I actually calculate throughout the month, where I track my spending. Internet is £27, my gym is £45.73. Blink, which is a camera system I have up around my property, which is £8 a month. My water is £50.54 a month, which is insane. And Spotify has now increased to £12.99 a month. I'm going to have to really review that subscription. So basically this means that this is my essentials, not taking into account my transport and groceries, which will roughly come to about what's left over. So what I'll do is I'll make sure that I have that amount in my current account for all my direct debits, and then everything else will sit in my high yield savings account. And so then we move over to my wants. So I know that I've got £1,133 left to spend. I don't actually allocate it into spending pots throughout the month. I just track my spending as I go, and I actually put everything on my Amex card and then I pay that off each month. The reason I'm using Amex is because it's a rewards card and I want to get those Amex points and hopefully use them in future on flights. So I'll show you how I then track my spending throughout the month. I love this spreadsheet, so I built this spreadsheet myself, and I have some careful formula in here which corresponds to the categories underneath. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So on the Amex app, I'm able to see exactly where I have been spending my money. So I ate out in a little cafe and I spent £7.05. I also got another coffee while I was there, and that was on that date. I also picked up a snack on that day. It was on that day, and that was 95p. And so what you'll see is that this then starts to come in up here, and it's also populated in this chart here. So what I'll do now is I'll just fill out my wants and my needs transactions. So my needs transactions will be groceries, etc. So I've added in my transactions so far for this month, and you'll see there's a lot of eating out and a lot of coffee. It was my birthday on the 27th of October, and I've also had the week off, and I've just been going out, I've been eating out, getting a lot of coffee. I'm normally very frugal, and I will be frugal for the rest of the month. It was just quite a celebratory week. And then I've also added in transport and groceries so far, which you'll see has then been populated here. So that is my budget and what I've got left going forward. So in terms of the kind of general fund money, I've got £920 left. I can show you my savings and investments. So there's not really anything new here. As I've mentioned, I've got my $750 into emergency fund. What I'm putting into my cash ISA is everything that's in my sinking pots. I'm putting £100 not trading 212 ISA. This went into my pension from salary sacrifice. My employer also contributes a lot on top. It's really generous. I haven't put anything into Bitcoin. I do have a little bit invested in Bitcoin, but I haven't been adding to it regularly so far. And this is how I just am currently keeping track of my savings and investments. I'm still creating this spreadsheet, so it's a little bit messy, and maybe for future videos it'll be a little bit tidier and we'll spend a bit more time on it. So that's my budget for November, and I hope that that was interesting and insightful. It was a little scrappy. As I said, this is my first YouTube video, but honestly, budgeting has made such a difference for me. I am able to save so much more and just keep a track of my spending. Like, just for example, this last week has been quite expensive. I have gone out a lot, I have splurged a bit. And I'm aware of that, and it just means for the next week or two I'll just keep things reined in so that I don't end up having to go into my spending pots just to get by for the rest of the month. So if this was useful for you, then please do remember to like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in my future videos.